It's about 6:30, if we can get started. Deputy Clerk Schultheis, would you read the preamble for us, please?
Thank you. In accordance with the applicable statutes of the State of Illinois and ordinances of the City of Prospect Heights, notice is hereby given that the City Council meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Prospect Heights is being held on Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 6:30 PM. In person at City Council Chambers, Prospect Heights City Hall, 8 North Elmhurst Road, Prospect Heights, Illinois, and simulcast on Zoom. Acting Mayor Matthew Dolick presiding. This meeting will be broadcast live on cable channels Comcast and WOW Channel 17 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. It will also be recorded and televised on Comcast and WOW Channel 17 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. Attendees who wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be provided an opportunity during the meeting. There's a 5-minute time limit for speakers.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to call to order the City Council meeting today, Monday, January 23rd, 2023, at 6:32 p.m. in the City Council Chambers of Prospect Heights, located at 8 North Elmhurst Road in Prospect Heights. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call to establish a quorum, please?
Yes, Mayor, good evening. Alderman Cameron?
Here.
Alderman Dolick?
Here.
Alderman Morgan Adams?
Here.
Alderman Dash?
Here.
Alderman Ludvitskin?
Here.
All right, we do have a quorum. And, sir, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for January 29th, 2022, the City Council regular meeting minutes?
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections or additions? If not, could I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Ludvitskin?
Aye.
Alderman Dash?
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams?
Aye.
Alderman Dolick?
Aye.
Alderman Cameron?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. For presentations this evening, we do have a presentation by Director Bill Kearns from the Chicago Executive Airport for their monthly update.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, elected officials, city staff, and residents. Thank you for the opportunity to come and present to you this evening. Being that it's our first report of the year, I thought I'd start with a quick update on how the year 2022 wound up for us. Total operations for the year were 97,456. Our 20-year average is 96,283. So we're very close to our 20-year average, but if we looked at a 10-year average, we're substantially above. Going back to 2020, 2021, we had a lot of flight schools doing touch and goes on the airport, and that tended to raise the average number of operations at the airport. So during a larger period later on, we were normally in the 70, 75, 80,000 operations a year. Another statistic, our fuel flowage, one of the things we measured for the year wound up being 8,291,751 gallons. And our 20-year average there is 5.7 million. So substantially above that 20-year average. That is because the increase of aircraft that take larger amounts of fuel. And our customs operations for the year were 512 operations, where our 20-year average is 449. So our new customs facility has brought additional operations, and we think that's working very well. Next thing is our RSIP, our sound installation program. We are waiting still for the FAA for their final review. We have a meeting on February 3rd with them. Hopefully we'll get the approval to go ahead with phase 2 of that insulation program. Part of that, we have a new noise exposure map update, and that is on schedule to be finished this year also. As far as construction projects on the airfield, we have airfield lighting project that we've been working on. We had hoped to get it done last year, but because of material delays, it is going to start in April. We have an airfield ramp project and roadway rehab in front of Atlantic Aviation. Those are scheduled for the summer into possibly the fall. Another item, the Village of Wheeling expects to take delivery of a new ARFF truck, which in our terms is a foam truck that will assist in any aircraft emergencies on the airfield. That was partially paid for by money that the airport, the sales taxes and so forth on the airport that were received by the Village of Wheeling. Last couple items. The airport is starting a job shadowing program with District 214 during the month of February, which will allow students to rotate through our offices, the fixed base operators, flight schools, and maintenance divisions, and it complements the classroom instruction that Lewis University is doing on the airfield there. We are working on our fiscal year budget. We're going to have an initial presentation to the board at the February meeting. And finally, the airport staff has been meeting with solar energy companies on potentially trying to use solar power at the airport as part of a green initiative. And that would help offset our electrical costs, not only at the buildings, also the airfield lighting that we have. So we do have some big roofs over there. Hopefully we could utilize those in some capacity with solar. And that's really all I have for the report. I'd be willing to entertain any questions anyone had.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions for Director Kearns? My only question is, you mentioned the foam truck that will be coming at some point. Until its arrival currently, how is that handled? Is it like an agreement or like a MABUS system where other departments might be involved if that's needed?
We have an existing foam truck which is still in use, I believe, and then they would retire that one and use the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
I just have a question about, you know, a few months ago, there was the issue of the additional taxes that hadn't been paid and that you were getting from some of the other entities. I know that there was a report, but I didn't get a full report as to whether you've collected from the entities or what the situation is.
They're still working, some of the entities, yes. The two FBOs, some of them have, one of them has reimbursed the airport or paid them directly, and I think the other one's still being worked on. And then the larger bill is still an appeal case that the airport is working on with Cook County to try and appeal those taxes.
Okay.
But we, in the meantime, did pay. All of them have been paid.
All of them have, that's what I understood, all of them have been paid, actually.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, anyone else? Thank you very much, sir. I
Thank you.
appreciate your
Thank you.
report. We have no appointments this evening. Next item is public comment on agenda matters. Has anyone registered, or does anyone wish to speak? Okay.
No one has registered, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. There is no consent agenda and no old business, which brings us to new business. Item 9A, staff memo and resolution acknowledging the City of Prospect Heights' support of tax increment funding. Joe, would you like to expand on that?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. The Illinois Municipal League has asked member cities to adopt a resolution endorsing the city's, or city or village's authority for implementing and managing tax increment financing districts. This has become, unfortunately, it's become kind of an annual subject of erosion of municipal authority at the state legislature. And certainly, it's a very important tool for economic development or redevelopment that cities and villages have. Certainly, in Prospect Heights, there are other infrastructure challenges. We don't have water. We have a antiquated stormwater management system. So there are a number of things that tax increment financing can also bring us for public benefits. But there have been, it's become kind of an annual subject of debate in Springfield to erode municipal authority for this. And so the league has asked us, as well as all member municipalities, to fight for it and to stand up and say, this is economic development, economic redevelopment. It's not a responsibility of school districts, park districts, fire districts, library districts. It's a city responsibility. So therefore, I feel passionate about this, but well, we all should. This is our authority. And tinkering with it, whether it's dropping the time from 23 years to 15 years or the eligibility requirements, basically is going to put municipal authority for this out of business. It's as simple as that.
All right, thank you, Joe. Could I start with a motion to approve?
So move, Morgan Adams.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or any additional questions regarding this?
Yes. Just
Yep.
that, Joe, you put it very well. You're exactly right. The state should leave us alone because they really don't have a track record to show us that they're able to do it better. So I agree, they shouldn't be playing with that, and it's too important. Although we're not in one now, it's important that it's there if something comes up.
And thank you, and I want to also say, Joe, you did a great job in explaining it, and it is so important for our city because for economic development, since we're not home rule, I mean, it's really one of the major tools that we have to be able to pursue economic development.
Right.
Yes, very well put. Any other discussion or questions? If not, could I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye?
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Ludvixson,
Aye?
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next, item 9B, resolution authorizing a legal services agreement between the City of Prospect Heights and Tressler Law Firm. This is an extension of the services that we've had for some time with Tressler, with a small increase in the fee structure. They have not had an increase since, I believe, 2014 or so. Could I start with a motion to approve, please?
So moved?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or any questions for our city attorney?
Yes, I have one question. And John, we've talked about this, but I didn't see it in the legal service agreement. I had asked if travel time was being charged and for meetings. You said no, but I don't see it in the agreement, and I would be more comfortable if it was. And I think I think court, am I correct, court is not also charged for travel time, or it is?
We do charge for court time, but I'm just trying to think, I don't think we have any court cases that are not through an insurance company.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, it would be
Well,
standard.
there's one that I can think of that's in the courts right now.
That's by way of an insurance company.
Okay, all right.
So.
All right. But would that be okay just to add that to, for at least for council meetings?
If that's what the board, if that's what the council wants to do as an amendment, yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, it's not currently charged, so there would be no changes.
Correct.
It's just adding it to the agreement.
Correct.
To be specific.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Mr. O'Driscoll?
I have one.
Yes, go ahead.
The effective date, would it go retroactive to the 1st of January, or could we do February 1st?
We can do February 1st if you would like me to, that's fine.
Yeah, February 1st sounds good.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? Then with those additions to the agreement, could I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Ludvixson.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 10, staff and elected officials. We do have the December financial report, which will be presented by, I believe, Mr. Tannehill. Is that correct? Or
I can present it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The financial report for the month of December was included in the agenda, and at this point in the year, we're pretty much on target with revenues at 71% of the budget. As you notice, expenses are at 80% of the budget, but the uptick in that is capital improvement project expenditures for the Arlington countryside and general obligation bond payments. So if you have any questions, I can take them at this time, but that's the report for this month.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions? There being none, thank you very much for your report. We appreciate it. Item 10B, the report of legally reported adult use zoning proposal by Community Development Director Dan Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor Dolick and City Council. This is a housekeeping item that we have to attend to. Last summer, in our disconnection of the Sanders Road parcels territory within the city, that effectively eliminated the O1 Office Research District, which was the only zoning district in which adult uses were allowed to be located. Under state law, we have the right to regulate the location of placement, and that's part of our powers as a non-home rule community. So we were charged with trying to identify a couple parcels within the city to look at rezoning. We've identified a couple of parcels. They are not anywhere near residential neighborhoods, religious organizations, and are isolated in an area that would not have impact if and when if we ever got one. I have spoke with the property owners of the two parcels. They understand the position we're in, and their big concerns is they are not the ones initiating this language, and B, that their current uses will not be impacted. Additionally, Administrator Wade and I spoke with the airport Executive Director Miller and Economic Development Director Sakis, and they also were on board with the locations. So we will be preparing, I'm working with Tressler on the language and updating that, and we will be ready to present this to the PZBA in their March regular meeting and have it back before council in April for final approval. And that's, just wanted to keep you up to speed to make sure that, as the question was asked of us last year at the de-annexation time, and that's where we are with that. At that time, we will also clean up the map and the text and remove the O1 text as well from the current zoning code. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Are there any questions for Director Peterson? Just one question. Geographically, what is the area that we're talking about?
We are looking along the Palatine Road frontage on the north side of Palatine Road, but south of the airport. Kind of there's the Jeans Towing, the McDonald's, Enterprise, Fry's, Polina Landscaping, that little quadrant. So it's pretty much adjacent to the airport. It's bounded by the airport to the north, Milwaukee Road to the east, and Palatine Road running to the south.
All right, thank you. Are There any other questions?
A quick question, Dan, the map shows 3 parcels with PIN numbers next to those other areas you talked about. So is it really only half of that island, only the yellow portion, or is it McDonald's too?
No, it's only the yellow portion. We are looking at some size restrictions, minimum lot sizes, those types of things. And those 2 parcels are with the, Plano Landscaping owns that little piece at the very end of the triangle. And, you know, is actually anything that would happen with, if there was rezoning, whether it was for an adult use or any other use, we would ask them to incorporate that little triangle into the bigger parcel. But no, we just identified those 2 parcels as potential for redevelopment for this particular use.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, thank you, Dan. We appreciate it. The staff and elected officials report. I am going to go through the list of everyone this evening, but I have heard some comments that this tends to take up some time. And this was just a continuation of how Nick Helmer used to handle it. I'm certainly open to making any changes. I have no problem with that. So again, just of the elected officials, if you have a report, please feel free to give it. But in addition to that, I'd like to just poll each of you. If you have no report, just let me know if you want to discontinue this. I'm fine with that. If we want to handle it in a different way, for instance, I can just ask if anyone has a report, and I'll call on people one at a time. But I'm certainly open to this. So I'll start with Alderman Ward 1, Michelle Cameron.
Hi, Mayor. I do not have a report, but I would like to say the last meeting in the minutes, I did not attend the December 12th meeting, but I did want to say that I did attend the City Council Strategy Planning meeting, which was an awesome meeting, and we got a lot out of it. So I just wanted to put on record that I was at that meeting.
Okay, I'll make sure that's noted. Thank you. And as far as whether you want to continue this type of format, as far as polling each of the elected officials individually, or if we want to discontinue that?
I have no problem with that.
Okay, thank you. Ward 2, Pat?
No report, and I'll let you know if there's something I want to say. You don't have to ask me, I'll bring it up.
Fair enough.
That's how I am. You don't have to, I
I'm sure you'll speak up if you have to.
So.
I don't question that.
I will, you'll know.
All right.
Anybody will know.
Thank you, sir. Ward 3, Wendy Morgan Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report tonight. I'm good with you polling us individually or just asking if anyone wants to give a report. Either way is fine with me.
Okay, thank you. And Ward 4, Danielle Dash.
I have no report, and I am, I welcome the you certainly don't have to ask me if I need a report. I'm good with the proposal that we skip that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And I have no report. This would be a time-saving measure if we discontinued that. I'm okay with it either way, but it sounds like, at least so far, we have a couple of people to go, but so far it sounds like it may be unnecessary. But I have no other report this evening. City Treasurer Rich Tibbetts.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I have no report. However, this is the first time I've had an opportunity to observe a council meeting on Zoom, and so I'm learning a couple of things, and it's very informative, actually. So all I can say is I'm glad that I'm doing this, and hopefully we'll continue in future meetings. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. And do you have an opinion on whether or not we continue this format of calling on individuals?
I think for the sake of saving time, you wouldn't have to do that. But I think if any of the council members or treasurer or clerk had a report, they should probably notify you ahead of time so that you could call on us, unless you just want to open it up for us to notify you during the meeting that we had a report. I don't know how you would handle that.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. City Clerk Joanna Prasiashnik.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I have a small announcement, if we can call that a report. I just want to remind everyone that the Chamber of Commerce is inviting everyone, business owners, to this Thursday's Business After Hours. It will be held at Mia's Cantina. That's our escape to Mexico during the winter. It will be from 5 to 7. Non-members, it's $15. You can register at the website. And members can invite your local fellow business owners so they can learn what the Chamber all has to offer. And they're located at 373 North Dundee Road in Wheeling. So that's my small report. I know it was emailed. Thank you, Peter, for that effort. And as far as what your question is, I would agree with Rich Tibbetts if there's some way we can tell in advance, or if there's a shorter way of doing it, a quick announcement where whoever has a report can make that announcement, because many times we don't have a report, and there's always a few of us that have something to say. But thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. As I said, I really wanted to get the opinion of elected officials to help me make a decision on this, and I will advise the council by the next meeting if we want to make a change. I have no problem in making a change to that format if it's a time-saving measure, so I will get back to you.
I just want to clarify,
Yes.
this only has to do with the elected officials, but not staff, because you would still call on staff individually, correct?
Well, that's,
I think we'd go by the same as the
Oh,
council.
same. Okay,
exactly.
so, okay.
I wanted to have the elected officials help me make the decision. So tonight, I'm going to go through all of the staff officials as well, but I think we can all abide by the same format. So,
Okay.
like I said, I may discuss this with some of you individually in the next 2 weeks, but I'm certainly open to making any changes. And it's just a process change, so it doesn't require a vote necessarily. I just want
Right.
to get the feedback
Okay,
of each of you.
thank you.
So I will let you know. Thank you very much. Moving on to other staff, City Administrator Joe Wade,
No report, thank you.
City Assistant Administrator Peter Falcone,
No report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
and Finance Director, if you have any additional reports. I know you gave your report earlier.
No additional report, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you. And Director of Building Development, Mr. Peterson,
No additional report tonight, thank you.
and Public Works Director Mark Roscoe.
Short report, sir. Joe, Dan Strahan, our engineer, and myself have been working with the Army Corps on the calculations for the Levy 37 project. I don't have a solid product to give you yet, but we have been pushing, and the Army Corps has come up with the calculations that have been kind of the toe in the stub in our toe on. So we're hoping that we should be able to get a date of submittal to IDOT probably before our next staff meet or our next council meeting. I'll have more to follow up, but I know that is an important part of something that we need to work on as a city, and we are moving forward, just it's very slow, and I want to keep it out, out in the open that we're still progressing with it. That's it, sir.
All right, thank you. Police Chief Bill Caponegro.
Sure. I'm one of the few that always has something to say, and I'm going to keep it short, but for the record, I think I pretty much give a good synopsis in my weekly city council report on the goings-on at the PD. Just wanted to say that keep an eye on Prospect Heights Police Facebook page and the city web page. We have 2 child restraint certified child restraint installers at the station, and those seats are not as easy as some may believe. It's very important to make sure that your infant seats are installed correctly. So we're going to do a day or 2 coming up here in the near future, free of charge to residents to stop by and make sure that your seats are installed correctly. Secondly, our social worker is working really hard on a program coming in the future of maybe helping emergency funds for fire victims, persons out who locked out of their home, it's very cold out. That's in the future, but she's working on that. She's done a terrific job. I just want to give her a kudos in the record for that. Other than that, I have nothing else.
All right, thank you, sir. City Attorney, Mr. O'Driscoll?
Nothing to report, just a thank you.
Deputy Clerk Karen Schulteis?
Nothing to report, Mayor, thank you.
And Digital Communications Technician, Mr. Colvin? All right, thank you. That brings us to the approval of warrants. Madam Clerk?
Yes, we have a total of $247,081.12. We have wire payments, one from January 13th, 2023 payroll in the amount of $189,717.66, bringing the total warrant to $436,798.78 for this evening's council approval, please.
All right, could I have a motion to approve as presented?
So move.
Second, Cameron.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections? There being none, could I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Ludvison,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Dash.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Brings us to public comment on non-agenda matters. We do have one person registered. Mr. Heyman, if you wish to speak, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Richard Heyman. First wish everyone in the city council a happy new year. I had to miss the last meeting. So I wanted to wish everybody a happy new year and all the residents in Prospect Heights a happy new year. Let's make this our best year ever. With the, on one particular agenda matter of Springfield leaving us alone, they should deal with state matters and leave the municipalities to dealing with our own economic development. And lastly, after having recovered
I'm sorry, sir, you're kind of breaking up. Can you just repeat that last statement?
The Chicago Marathon House Charities. It's an organization that's near and dear. Is, you know, back in the 80s, they took my family and my sister in as she had epilepsy, and very kind and daring organization, and caring people in that organization. I want to help pay them back for their service to everybody.
And again, sir, you're breaking up. I'm hoping that we get all of your message. If you want to repeat any of that, feel free to do so, sir.
I apologize. Can you hear me now?
I can now, yes.
Yes, sir. So I'm running the Chicago Marathon in October. Training starts now. So after having recovered from my final spinal surgery a month ago, I'm running, I'll be training, I'll be walking and running the entire first ward in the city of Prospect. I'll be training on Saturdays and Tuesdays in the evenings. So I hope to see a good crowd, and let's make this a great year. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Heyman. That brings us to executive session. I don't believe we have executive session this evening, so that brings us to adjournment. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second, Cameron.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.